Is it starting? Did it count down?
It says it's recording.
All right, great. All right, off to a fantastic start. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Violent People Radio, episode number 92. My name is Dan Rice. I am a big, stupid fucking baby who's at a cheerleading competition. No, this is Orchid. We are joined by two very special folks, but first I'll start off with someone who's not special at all. Pat, how are you today?
I'm okay. You really should have gone after Dan for just without saying anything specific. Just say he was transporting teenage girls across state lines.
Yeah, that's good. Let's run with that. I mean, let's be honest. Like, obviously, I am. Go ahead.
We'll say which states, which lines. I think that changes things.
It very well could. That is one of our guest hosts today. Good old Pork, our sweet little prince.
Our 2012 Royal Rumble correspondent.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Oh, terrible. This actually maybe one of the worst days of my life in recent memory.
How bad did Nottingham play?
What?
Or what? Your team is Nottingham, right?
No.
Tottenham.
Okay, sorry. Who am I thinking of whose team is Nottingham?
A bastard.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
But no, it wasn't Tottenham. It was Ireland today who lost on penalties in the World Cup qualifier.
Well, that just means that they don't have to come to America.
We cannot joke my way out of this sadness. It really hurt. I haven't seen my mum cry in a while, so that wasn't a great feeling.
Wow, you guys are really Irish.
Right, yeah. Very Irish family.
Wow.
I'm praying for the great nation of Ireland in this trying time.
And yeah, we'll do everything we possibly can to cradle you in our sweet American arms. And our other co-host today is our sweet little princess, Marilyn of Death. How are you today?
Hi, I'm here to fourth wheel this podcast very hard.
Can't wait.
You are here. Great. No, you're here to drive the X engagement. You're here so that, fucking, I don't know, like Oren Veidt will get in your DMs being like, I really didn't like what they said about me.
I really wish our big top was just really.
Thankfully, that hasn't happened yet. The worst I've gotten so far is fucking Sammy Callahan.
Oh man, God bless. That's fantastic. In hindsight,
given the scene,
that's fair. I
hope he doesn't listen to this podcast because I don't have the heart to tell him I think he's a massive piece of shit.
Sammy Callahan.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We should point out we finally ship Ephesius as VPR.
What did you just say?
Zero original hosts tonight.
Oh yes. Okay. Good. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. Look at us.
Like Oops All Guest episode, but that's not really a canon episode.
That was a bit.
God, that was a
episode. So Dan is at a cheer competition. Sam, just living life. Chris, also living life. And I think Tanner said he was busy fucking his wife tonight.
At dinner. At a dinner.
This is not a joke, and I don't really mind having this out. I've been trying to schedule a late night with the 2012 episode with Tanner for about 2 months now.
The thing is, from what I can tell on the server, Tanner is wholeheartedly and passionately committed to not having a savings account in 10 years' time. Because he seems to just collect the most expensive hobbies possible, like magic cards and Funko Pops or whatever, vintage video game magazines. And then he's also like, I think I'm having my quarter life crisis. I think I'm gonna buy a BMW. I'm just kind of like, all right, dude, go for it. Then again, he probably makes like 5 times what I do for 1/4 of the work. So God bless him for that.
I can't chastise him because I had no retirement until my parents died, but boy, do I have a lot of fucking Joshi merchandise. So who the fuck am I to criticize? I spent $70 on keychains last
How many keychains
year.
did you get for that?
I got 3, and I'm trying to offload them. Yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
See, I
If the answer
my
was
my
less
moment
than
like
50,
that.
I was gonna. That's a bad deal.
It was a bad deal. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it was less than 70. If I remember correctly, they were originally listed on eBay at $90, and I think I got the guy down to 40. That's like a thing I like to do is at like 3:00 in the morning, just make incredibly low bids on like just the stupidest like Japanese wrestling merchandise. Like there was a Shibata autographed shirt that was like listed at like $200, and I was just like in the guy's DMs, just being like, "Come on, you want to give it to me for $4, don't you?" He blocked me. Yeah. Yeah. Who could blame him?
No, I once won a raffle. Do you remember the website Joshi City?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if that guy still. 10 years
No,
ago,
they
this
still
guy
do.
was like, yeah, he was like the
News
leading
stuff.
correspondent on this stuff before it really kind of blew up among the true sickos of wrestling. And he had a raffle or something. Like it was something where he was, I think, maybe he was doing like a charity race or something. Either way, you paid into the raffle, and I won a Kerry Hojo photo book from it. And then I later on was able to sell that. Once Stardom and Kyrie Hojo got really popular, I was able to sell that for some good money when I needed it. So
Hell yeah.
I was blocking all the people who were offering me $4.
I won an Xbox One in a raffle.
You won what?
An Xbox One.
That's way cooler than a photo book.
Yeah.
I thought you said.
Is at the school summer fair. I was like 11. I won an Xbox One.
I thought you said Xbox.
If that happened to me when I was 11, I would have been like, all right, my life has already peaked. It cannot get better than this.
Well, yeah, that would have been future technology for you. So that would have been
Exactly. Yeah, I would have
that
been
would've
like,
been
oh my
fun.
God, your SNES sucks. I've got an Xbox One.
This is a really bad joke that doesn't need to carry over into this podcast. But anytime me and my wife will like often watch like very, very, very bad television, especially like BBC period pieces. And like anytime, yeah, great. Anytime there's any like moment of conflict, I just turn to her and I'm like, why aren't they just playing GameCube? She laughed like twice. I have not give up on it.
That's a good bit.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's also a valid question.
It's true. Like, I mean, like if you're dealing with, the plague, like just go the fucking side. Like play
Mario
Zelda.
Party.
Or Mario,
Yeah.
fucking
Super Mario Sunshine.
Super Mario. I'm trying to do the Nirvana the band show bit, but I forgot how it goes.
Perfect. All right, so let's hop into this. Largely because if we can keep this under 2 hours and 40 minutes, that'd be a miracle. But yeah, Pat, what wrestling did you watch this week?
Pass.
All right, great. All right, Pork, how about you, buddy?
I'd like to pass back to Pat.
Oh, fuck me.
I watched 2 WCW matches yesterday. One of them was a 6-man lucha match from an episode of Nitro. It was awesome. Super Calo did like 2 insane dives in the space of 2 minutes. And then I watched from about a month later, Super Calo versus La Parca on Nitro. Calo did another insane dive into the third row of the crowd. And then after the match, Parca broke one of those old plastic school chairs over Calo's head. And you can see in the moment, Parca just stands there like, oh my God, I've just killed a man on live TV.
Now,
That's all I can remember watching from the last week. It's been a very
I
weird
would
week
hate
from
to call
work.
you out on a lie, but I think 2 of us in this podcast know for a fact you watched an Italian CCW show.
Oh yeah, I watched some of that too.
Yeah.
That show sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I totally forgot about that.
We all watched that.
That show fucking blew ass. It's
That
not
could be
even
the
worth
big-
mentioning.
Everyone in this call watched that show.
I did not,
Except
unfortunately.
Orchid.
Yeah, I wish I would have.
Except
I
Orchid,
wish I
yeah.
would have in hindsight.
You
don't.
missed out on seeing like the Belgian version of Jimmy Jacked Cash or something.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Trust me, the people who know what that means immediately know what that means.
Yeah, you missed the legendary tag team known as Thick and Long.
Who's in that?
Thick and long. It's in the fucking name.
Oh, all
It
right.
was their last names were like Van Kunderen, and it was like Maas and Bas or something like that. Two Belgian or Dutch guys doing a 2004 era gay guy gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
We like
Yeah.
It was not good. And
Was this-
they got about 12 hours of time on this show.
Was this
Way too much.
Was this from this year?
No, this is from 2004. This was CZW back in like the Zandig era.
Got it. Okay.
And the show was under 2 hours, and it felt like time dilation was occurring, and we were traveling beyond the infinite, because I was just like, this fucking thing has been going on for far too much of my life. Anyway, no, don't watch that. Don't watch CZW Aftershock 2004. Do watch basically any Super Calo or Super Calo adjacent match in WCW up until La Parka kills him with a chair. I saw Eric, the guy from Segunda Caída, who personally hates me. He was on Twitter saying that this was kind of the end of Super Calo being an amazing high flyer because they rushed him back to work, even though La Parka had probably damaged his brain. And yeah, I watched like a little bit of stuff from after that. And I'm like, yeah, I see what he's going for.
Was that
Super Calo for 1997, amazing wrestler.
Oh fuck yeah! I mean that is like just peak of Parka too. Just like really, God.
Yeah, that was when Parka could still do the twisting moonsault.
Yeah, man.
But they do in that 6-man. I already forget who's in it. If you look on WWE's YouTube account, it's literally just listed as 6-man lucha tag. I know Hector Garza's in it, Hoovy, La Parka, I think Damien. But Super Calo does an insane dive that puts him in the 4th row, like he's fucking Rob Van Dam in the ECW arena. And then they do maybe the best dive train I can think of just guys progressively doing insane dives outside the ring. Super Calo does another completely insane one that almost breaks both of his ankles because he smacks into the guardrail. And as someone who experiences a lot of foot and ankle pain from my job, I immediately was like, this guy, he is sacrificing. Anyway, so my recommendation for the week, Super Calo. Back to Fork.
Hello. How's it? No, I watched wrestling a bit. Very few. Slay the Spire 2 has come out, and that's taken up a lot of my time. But I watched some of DDT's 29th anniversary special. I said some of because the show was 5 hours long. So I kind of skipped between what I was interested in. I watched Jun Akiyama versus Ruika. This is fine. It's a very good Akiyama. This kind of old, mean veteran just kind of bullying a young star. So that was pretty good. But I wouldn't call it any special. What I would recommend is Toy versus Okani. I'm going to read the full stipulation here. If a wrestler presses the button mounted on the referee's head, they are granted a staring contest chance. They can make the referee laugh. Within the allotted time, they are permitted to use a bamboo sword as an official approved weapon for 1 minute. So, yeah. It's very good. It's what you expect from a DD comedy match. Okatani plays it really straight, just not wanting to be involved in it all. The ref is great in it. If you like your DDT comedy, I would recommend this quite a lot. It's just classic DDT of taking a concept and seeing what you can do with it, and just playing it to its logical conclusion, but still satisfying. And I also watched from the same show the 6-on-1 Ironman Heavyweight Championship match. This is Minoru Suzuki versus Kenshiro Takagi, Toru Owashi, Dino, Super Secando Machine, Honda, and Imbayashi. Yeah, this is what I love DDT for. It's my kind of match.
That was the match that most jumped out to me from the card, where I was like, I haven't gotten to it because like you said, it's 15 fucking hours long. But that was the match that made me go like, okay, that one I might have to.
Well, I'm just going to name one moment from it, and I think it will sell you on the match, Pat.
I'm already sold. It's just a matter of making time for it.
I'm going to sell on you. I'm going to resell it to you.
This is the upsell.
This is the upsell. The Dino's in the corner with his ass out doing his thing, and Honda's doing the old Spirit Fox thing. You know, he's got the hand symbol out, and he puts his hand into Dino's ass and discharges it up with electrical powers. So whenever he hits someone with it, they get electrocuted.
Yeah, that's how that works. If you combine Gongetsune with the Hell's Gate, all bets are off.
Yeah. This results in Bayashi's Glasses winning the Iron Man title. So, yeah, I will say.
Where do you think they're going to land in your ranking of every?
High. I will say this match created new champs, so that does kind of lower me on it because I know I have to do more work now.
But you've already seen the match.
Sure, but I still have to write it. This is going to be like 5 extra seconds of work.
That's true. 5 seconds in abundance adds up.
Suzuki, this is Suzuki's first time holding the belts. I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to put him.
Oh, he's holding them all? Wait, no, he's not. What the fuck happened in this match? I mean, I'm just looking at cage match.
Suzuki
so
goes into this match holding the title.
Okay.
And it's a 6-on-1 match, but it ends up with Imbashi's Glasses pinning Suzuki. So
what I saw of it is that all 6 of them dogpiled Suzuki.
Suzuki was wearing the glasses at the time, and he fell over. The glasses were technically at the bottom, pinning him.
Got it.
I mean, I'm not sure why you're confused there.
Yeah, no, I mean either. I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, it makes complete sense now.
DDT Iron Man heavy metalweight title is perhaps the most simplest concept in all of wrestling. The most simplest.
Yeah, I just wish it went to wrestlers I can find footage and images of.
Did you know that I'm technically a former Iron Man heavy metalweight co-champion?
So am I.
Nice.
Is it when the subscribers won it?
No, it would. Well, actually, I think that makes me a 2-time one.
Shit.
It was when I was at a Beyond Wrestling show,
you're
and
in that crowd?
I was in that crowd when who was it? Joey Ryan and Johnny Cockstrong were fucking around with it. I don't remember who had it, but
I currently have them 4th from bottom.
Yeah, that's. Ranking. I mean, it's a fucking Beyond Wrestling crowd. I'm shocked that they're not dead last.
I will. No, dead last is Vince McMahon's Hollywood star.
Yeah, low work rate on that guy.
And then
how was Hirata versus Takeshita?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, great. It's really good. Hirata is amazing in it. So if you don't know, the whole bit of it is, there's a bit, this is Hirata. It's a big entrance. Hirata's got the singer of his entrance song out. It's a big thing. Takeshita beats him in 3 seconds. So then Hirata and God, why am I blanking? Hirata and Imbayashi sing a song begging Takeshita for a rematch. So Takeshita accepts, beats Hirata again in 5 seconds this time. So there's a final one, but the stipulation is Takeshita needs a 20 count, where Hirata only needs a normal 3 count. And that's the last bit of your match. And it's the best Takeshita match in years, probably.
I saw one bit of it. Yeah, I saw one bit of it, and the thing I love about DDT is when they do bits like this, where they say one guy needs a 20 count to win, they commit to the bit such that they had a 19.99999 kick out.
I think DDT, you see all the really complicated out there stipulations. But I think DDT is at its best, where it's taking a very simple idea and just playing it to its logical conclusion, doing everything you can with it.
I do think that I wrote about it in a way that I found unsatisfying, but posted anyway. The kind of structural similarities between the All Japan Kings Road and the weird comedy shit, like how the comedy division of DDT has like a whole continuity unto itself. And I feel like there really is not a lot of difference. It's just that one has the goal of making people laugh, and the other one has the goal of eventually killing Misawa.
Yeah,
so, I mean, when you put it like that, who's to say which one's right? But
look, a lot of the DDT comedy guys on the GWE ballot, none of the pillars are. So take away what you want from that.
It's a beautiful world.
Yeah, that's what I watched. I will probably get back, watch some of the non-comedy stuff in the DDT show, but it is a 5-hour show. Yeah, I've been watching a bunch of Abella Kobayashi matches as well. If I watch like 5 more, he's also getting on my GWE ballot. But yeah,
nice.
Wrestling is cool. Sometimes, not really.
Padraig, I'm just kind of curious here because, like, I know we talked about this a little bit last week without you, but I know you've been like kind of like getting into DDT lately. Have you like went back, or are you just like kind of like watching like?
I've always been kind of a fan of DDT, but I've really gotten into it. But yeah, no, I've gone back to watch like the Dick Togo matches, the Honda matches, like a lot of Ishikawa's work there.
Did you ever watch the 3-way False Count Anywhere tag? I know I've linked it on the server a bunch of times, but I don't know if anyone ever clicks the stuff I
don't believe I have.
You got it's Kenso and Michael Nakazawa versus Sanshiro Takagi and Jun Kasai versus Kota Ibushi and Goda Ihashi, and it is demented in the best possible way.
Yeah,
it's the gold standard for False Count Anywhere matches.
What I liked about the DDT show is DDT was my favorite promotion last year, and it's been the promotion I watched the most this year. But they just lost their best. Like my favorite wrestler in the company, Higuchi, is gone now, and what I've watched from this show fills me with a lot of confidence that DDT is going to be fine.
Yeah, I kind of think that like, you hear a lot about like kind of like every flavor of ice cream like approach to like booking that AEW takes a lot of the time. And I think like really in execution, I find DDT does that just like so much fucking better.
Agree, because AEW's flavors are like every flavor of Segunda Caída review.
Yeah.
And not every actual flavor.
Yeah, or some like art, like Halo Top, like some like artificial.
Actually, I take that back because Matt D is the only one who reviews shit there anymore. So I love Matt D.
Yeah, shouts to Matt. Yeah, Padraig, I'm kind of asking. I think like I don't think this was actually Pat who recommended this to me, but like when I first joined the Observer board, somebody like recommended Apartment Poetry, and like Pat, I'm sure you've seen that Apartment Poetry. That's fucking embarrassing. Apartment Wrestling. Pat, you've seen that one? I'm assuming.
You mean just the concept of apartment wrestling, or
the Kota Ibushi one?
Oh, okay. When you said apartment wrestling, like that sounds like something I'd recommend, right? Just like trolling a thread by being like, "You should check out Customs, guys."
yeah. No, I don't mean the
Customs. Star has some great work in these.
No, I mean the one where it's like Ibushi is like wrestling. Like I guess he's like supposed to be like a landlord of an apartment building and going from like yeah. You've seen that one?
That's a good one. Yeah. No, yeah. Ibushi honestly, the most tragic thing that could have ever happened is Ibushi going to New Japan full time. Like, I honestly believe that him becoming a New Japan main event heavyweight guy just breaks my heart, because he could have been so much more. He could have been much less successful in his life and much less acclaimed, but much more beloved by me. And I don't begrudge him taking the other road, but I do think that there was more road he could have gone down. Like when he was a freelancer doing, fucking matches on city streets with fireworks going off. Or like campsite wrestling and all that. Like, he's just such a fucking freak, and he traded it in to become a New Japan guy.
And not a memorable
I feel the
one
same
at
way
that.
about Omega, by the way.
I'm just going to let that hang because I don't really feel like talking about Kenny Omega today. You might be right.
Oh, yeah, no, speaking of wrestling, I did watch about half of that Omega versus Swerve match. Those guys look unhealthy.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega is at the point, he's kind of at the point that like Brock Lesnar and Shane McMahon have reached, where they just look like they're in pain. And I mean, God knows every wrestler probably is. I'm in pain and I don't wrestle. But like Kenny Omega, it just looks like it hurts to be him. And he can't really hide it.
It looks that way too, even when he's not wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, that just in general, like walking, it was like when The Rock was really at kind of his peak steroid thing when he was in Hobbs and Shaw and all that shit, Pain and Gain, where he was just so big and so massive, it just looked like he was just hurting constantly, and it was just unpleasant to see. That's kind of where I'm at with Kenny now.
I'm sure next 3 or 4 years, Omega probably retires. I hope. There's like the saying in football is, in my football, not your stupid young football. You realize how good a defender is once they lose their legs. Like once they lose their athleticism, do they have like the positional and the mental power to still be an effective player? And I wish we saw Omega, because I think he might have it in him to like adapt his style to his new broken body, but he just continues to wrestle the same way, and it's just not as interesting as when he was an athletic freak having great matches.
I really don't want to talk about that match last night, but I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that, like, to me, the thing that's most interesting about Kenny Omega is, can he actually do that? I think that's the only thing that, like, to me matters, right? Like, I think there's like a ceiling in terms of like where you'd place him on a GWE list, for me at least. I think like if you're putting him higher than like 40 or 50, like I've got some questions. I'm saying that as somebody who, like, I mean, definitively he's a large reason like why I still watch wrestling in the first place. But yeah, I think that that's the thing that remains endlessly fascinating to me about him, is that I think there is a way that he can do old man wrestling in a way that's really could be career defining for me, at least.
I think like lean back into your comedic chops.
That too.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think even if he doesn't necessarily go for comedy, he has such an inventive brain, and he's shown it off, that he can come up with all kinds of crazy stuff that in the DDT style takes something relatively simple and just subverts it to get the effect of like, whoa, I never would have thought of that. He could be doing that stuff, but instead he just keeps doing bangers. Honestly, what I would love to see from Kenny Omega is him just trying to get back down to junior. I think that would be the best for his body in the long run. Like, it's like when Rey Mysterio said, okay, I'm not going to try to, weigh the same as Brock Lesnar in sheer muscle mass anymore. And it probably added another 10 years to his career.
Is that how he is now? I feel like the last time I saw Rey Mysterio, and to be honest, that could have been last week or 2 decades ago. I just remember his tits being fucking huge.
I mean, he's never going to be as small as he was in WCW again. I think he's just kind of like at this point between age and the routine that he's been on for so long. I think his body's too fucked up anyway.
Yeah.
But he's also not like fucking 2004 Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. All right. Was that everything you watched, Padraig? Fuck, I'm so sorry, I'm mispronouncing
No,
it.
there's a question about it later. We can get into
No.
it then.
That's a good point. Yeah, did you watch anything else this week?
I watched the movie The Color of Money, and it was pretty good. But
Nice.
That's not wrestling, so I can't talk about it here.
Congrats. All right, cool. Marilyn, what about you?
You know me. I've watched way too much fucking wrestling, more than any human should.
There's some.
I don't even know where to start.
Do you want me to start you somewhere? I can. I did watch the Matt Tremont Joe Gacy match that you posted about yesterday.
Yeah, so since the last fucking VPR, I've watched every Carnage Cup since about 2012, every King of the Death match, every Queen of the Death match. Well, not every King of the Death match, every King of the Death match since they stopped in like 2011 or 2012, whenever the fuck it was that John Rare stabbed Spider Boudreaux in the fucking arm. But if we're going by just what I watched recently, it was one ladder match in CZW from 2013 from Down with the Sickness between Swerve, AR Fox, Andrew Everett, and Alex Colon, which was really, really fun. If you've seen any of my clips on Twitter, you know it's fucking insane, and everybody in it takes the most heinous bumps on the fucking ladders and tables. Fucking Andrew Everett goes for one Frankensteiner from the springboard, and his foot like lands on the table, and while he's fucking Frankensteining Swerve, he fucking Swerve falls, and his whole fucking back of his spine just hits the edge of the table, and it looked like it hurt like fuck.
That's the one you clipped, right?
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, that looked fucking brutal. One of the worst bumps I've seen in recent memory.
Shit. Fuck. Can you hear me? Sorry.
What
Anything else
did
you-
watch?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mamma mia.
Can y'all hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, no, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Okay. And the other thing I watched, which Orchid mentioned, was the House of Horrors match between Matt Tremont and Joe Gacy, which, might I say, generational carry job from fucking Matt Tremont there.
Truly. Truly. Did all the work in that match.
Is this match from this year or is this an old?
Why would it... Padraig.
I don't know.
Joe
No, Joe
Gacy's in
Gacy's-
WWE.
Oh,
Yeah, he's in the Wyatt Six now.
Okay. In my defense, how am I supposed to know that?
I mean, you do run a WWE podcast, but
A 2012 WWE podcast.
sure you do. I'm going to try to gaslight you into thinking it's a 2026 Royal Rumble podcast. That's going to be my pick.
Here is in the title.
Is it? Because it looks like 2026 to me. No, it's from October of 2013. But I will say few men tickle me the way that Matt Tremont does. I mean, I feel like you can almost hear it in my voice. I just start feeling so romantic every time I think about him. And I think the thing that was good.
Yeah, he's been wrestling for like maybe 2 years at this point in 2013. And he's already just immediately fucking got everything down.
Everything. He might be the first of the thousands of Terry Funks that we have today. And granted, this is the earliest match of his I've seen, but I feel really confident in that statement. It is also amazing to me too that like he does outside of his forehead looking like a botched circumcision. It looks like he hasn't aged a day.
Yeah, he's got the sort of face where he just kind of always, no matter if you saw him at age 17 or if you see him at age 58 someday, he's always kind of just looks like an upset baby.
Yeah.
Just with different amount of beard based on the day.
I think it's a picture of Dorian Gray situation, but in the painting, the bubble on his head keeps growing.
Yeah, speaking of giant babies, there was also that fucking DJ Hyde match she had at Cage of Death in 2012, which was
that's so good,
so fucking awesome.
That is the match for anyone who has ever cranked a Pantera record while daydreaming about beating the shit out of their stepfather.
Okay, one more time. What's this match again?
It's Cage of Death, DJ Hyde versus Matt Tremont, and Tremont beats the fuck out of DJ Hyde.
In 2012, sorry.
Yeah, it was in the Royal Rumble.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, awesome. Fantastic.
I remember.
Yeah. Him and Michael Cole, or all three of them, the two of them and Michael Cole. Just
it's honestly where DJ's career should have ended.
In a way.
We are Michael Cole.
And sometimes there's the Venn diagram. It's not as small as you think.
There's probably a great DDT match involving 1,000 Michael Coles that would be slightly. Who would win in a fight? 1,000 Michael Coles.
All right, let's get Grok on the case.
Yeah, let's do it.
That reminds me of the time people like argued a gorilla could be 100 humans.
Yeah, that's what I was going for, pal.
That was so weird. Is that the new ICW no holds barred like Japan show up anywhere? I've been trying to find it.
No, the deal with those is that they withhold them for like a few months because they sell the DVDs to like finance the Japan tour, as far as I'm aware, or at least try to monetize it a bit. And then they'll eventually make their way onto IWTV.
I think it's funny Neil Diamond Color immediately walked back his retirement.
I mean, what else are you going to do? That's if you retire in wrestling, the only move you have next is unretire.
Yes,
so.
Sir. Sorry, I'm getting my food.
I was about to ask, hey, Postmates delivery guy, what wrestling did you watch this week?
They don't know. Thank you.
Professional wrestling podcast.
So, Orchid, my suggestion is you just put a sustained beep over this entire thing so it just sounds like someone said the world's longest N-word.
No. Thanks,
okay.
Steph. More great feedback from Pat, as always. Yeah, fantastic.
My idea is that the podcast should be difficult to listen to. It should hurt your ears.
Well, I got great news for you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean that we've been working to that for 91 fucking episodes now.
One of the things that I really appreciate about this new podcasting platform is that there is like some sort of like magic audio button, and I'm pretty positive Dan has only clicked it once. So I'm very appreciative that I'm paying as much money as I am for this. That Dan isn't doing a whole lot to make the audio quality sound better. Dan, I miss you so much, sweetheart. Come back.
He's got. I mean, what do you expect? He's got tenants to charge for things.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. Lets me raise my hand. I've raised my hand.
I'm gonna lower it damn it, fuck, I wanted to lower it. One of the things that I've appreciated about the being a mod of the Discord is I didn't realize this, but there's apparently a timeout functionality, and
Yeah.
it has taken me, like, there are multiple times a day where I just like want to put Padraig in timeout, and
What?
like, well, just for the
Most of
fuck
them
of it.
mod.
Yeah, I know. See what would happen. Exactly. That's also a question. I just want to see what would happen with the power. Maybe, you know what? Actually, hold on one second. I'm gonna put Tanner in a timeout since he's fucking his wife. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Can't wait for
So
this.
Tanner has like an admin role though. He is more powerful than us on the hierarchy.
What is he gonna do? Put me in timeout? He's fucking his wife. He's not even gonna know. Oh shit! I can't though. Damn it, that blows.
Yeah,
All
that's what I mean. You can't punch up in Discord.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, sounds like more kings for me to conquer. Yes, if there's anything that we are, it's hierarchical.
I get
I mean, I guess we actually do quite literally rank folks, so that is pretty hierarchical.
Yeah, speaking of, like 90% of my ballot is now out of play, and we're still at what, number 300, 400? I think 400 is about to be unleashed.
I think it's really funny Paul Waterhauser hasn't showed up yet.
It's been taking me so much work. I am not somebody who's good at keeping secrets, and I guess I'm the only other person who's seen the full list. But yeah, that's been the one I've been biting my tongue about the hardest is Paul Walker Hauser.
Oh, I really hope he's like 100.
I really hope he's won.
There's still time, get your votes in.
Yeah. Vote in the VP 100.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Marilyn, is there anything else you'd like to say, or would you like to enjoy your chicken tendies?
I will just say, after the fucking DJ and Tremont match, Tremont cut this really funny fucking promo where he just fucking does the nah, hey, goodbye shit, but also calls him a douchebag, and it's awesome.
Yeah. It is up there with the promo that Taz did on Jerry Lawler, where he just comes out and just starts yelling at him, and just go like, "Hey Lawler, suck my cock."
That was the best Taz I've heard in days.
Like that was. I should specify, this was in ECW. This wasn't like SmackDown.
Yeah,
but yeah, Taz just coming out and just being an angry New Jersey guy for about 6 minutes, and that's kind of what Matt Tremont did, where he's sitting on top of the cage, just going like, "Get the fuck out of here, you motherfucker!"
That's that's from the infamous Tommy Dreamer Pop Testicle show, if I'm not mistaken.
You might be right.
Yeah, it's when Jerry Lawler was supposed to low blow Tommy Dreamer and completely shot on his nutsack and had to pop his genitals. Speaking of VP 100 and yours specifically, Pat, I just want to tell a quick story about everyone's favorite human dildo, Sabu. I remember popping into one of his streams a few months before he died, like on Twitch, largely because he said, like, on Twitter, he said that he was going to tell some really that he had some really fucked up stories about Tommy Dreamer. And I was like, "Can you tell them?" And he was like, I'll do it live on Twitch tonight. And I was like, "Well, I'm canceling fucking plans." And it was just me, two other people who were obviously high out of their minds, and Sabu. And his hosts kept getting everything wrong about like Sabu's career. And I kept like remembering certain things, and they kept like calling me out, being like, "Wow, this Orchid person knows a whole lot about Sabu's career." And Sabu was being like, "Oh wow, Orchid, you sure know a lot about my career." I was just so fucking uneasy about that. Like I did not want like that level of attention. But I did finally get him to tell the story about Tommy Dreamer, and he did make it sound as if he was going to have like a lot of Tommy Dreamer stories. But the only story that he told was that him and Sandman once dared Tommy Dreamer to pick a used condom up out of a river and eat it. And apparently, Tommy Dreamer did it. I'm so sorry you're eating. Tommy Dreamer did it, like barely, like with no hesitation. Like I think with like 1 second hesitation. So, yeah, R.I.P. to the GOAT, my favorite wrestler of all time.
R.I.P. Tommy Dreamer.
Yep, that's who I was talking about.
On the VP 100, Pat, I have something I kind of want to pitch to you, but please lock in. Slade Cargill.
Slade Cargill would be a very confusing, conflicting feeling.
I haven't thought about it. It could be a tag team. It could be them merging.
Honestly,
person.
if Jade Cargill just came out on WrestleMania and just started like shoot headbutting Rhea Ripley, I would, without question, call it the match of the year. Just on a conceptual level, going out to the women's title match at WrestleMania and then just like starting like to shoot brain damage each other.
What if Rhea Ripley had big scissors? Australian scissors.
Well, then I wouldn't be able to get Sam to watch it.
Well, he's dead, so that's okay.
Only in our hearts.
Not mine. He'll live forever in my heart, but dead. Yeah. I will piss in his grave, but he will live forever in my heart. The only man I care about. I told him that at the end this week. Oh no, but Haven. I'm so sorry, Haven. the sweet platonic prince of Discord. All right, yeah, I'll go ahead and hop in, largely so Marilyn can enjoy her Dairy Queen. All right, I watched a lot of wrestling.
I'm already eating it, bud.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Now I'm just thinking about the Wingstop I'm going to be ordering.
How bad fucking The Observer has become when we do this shit on a podcast.
Well, I mean...
Well, have you listened to fucking Brian Alvarez lately? Come on.
I try not to.
Yeah, no, we're still up there about, like, Dave is always amazing audio content when he's just being Dave, but Alvarez is Alvarez, and fucking Garrett Gonzalez is like, you know, I don't even know. Garrett Gonzalez is like listening to an executive from next door talk.
Yeah. God, I listen to, I no longer subscribe to The Observer, but I do illegally download it. I love to pirate Dave Metzler. It just tickles me that that's something I do. And there was just a great piece in Observer. There's a great bit in Monday's podcast where, Brian is just like, NCAA, wrestling championships. Tell us about that. And Dave just goes into a 17-minute monologue about some rivalry between Wisconsin and Penn State, where he's having a hypothetical conversation with himself about who the best Greco-Roman wrestler of all time is, while just dead silence from Brian Alvarez. Just absolutely incredible audio. It reminded me of my of calling home during the years when my dad was really invested in Rex Ryan and the decisions he would make.
Meltzer should be the next topic of the next Louis Theroux documentary.
All right, let's save the Dave talk for a bit, and also I am going to try to get through everything I watched as quickly as possible. So yeah, to talk about initially the wrestling I watched, like I try to. You know, if you recommend a match to me and you're part of the Discord, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to go out of my way to watch it. Pat, last week, you on the podcast said that anybody.
I thought you were about to say Pat is the absolute opposite.
No, actually, I mean you're the one. You're the one who I'm always. I find myself watching your recommendations a lot more than everybody else's. I love matching your freak in that
cool
regard.
Shit.
Yeah, it's different.
Super Colo matches.
Yeah, and it's different from a lot of what I typically watch. And last week you were adamant about anybody who is a fan of Darby Allin would be a fan of Mr. Danger, and that was like what I left the podcast thinking. That's what I wanted to prioritize, and I feel like you might have undersold him, for me at least. This guy might be the greatest fucking athlete I've ever seen in my entire life. He's not the greatest athlete I've ever seen in my entire life, but I really thought I was onto something profound when I was like, to extend upon Pat's analogy, he's as if Darby Allin met A.R. Fox, because so much of his repertoire and his movements just remind me a lot of A.R. Fox's.
I think he is a Fox trainee.
He's a trainee, yeah, and it's like blasted everywhere, right? Like it's on his Instagram. It says that he's like trained by the legendary A.R. Fox, and it shows abundantly. He's really gets up on his aerial maneuvers. The one match of his that I did watch was Mr. Danger versus Jimmy Lloyd. Sorry, let me pop over to my spreadsheet really quick. From the 314 GTW show Ashes to Ashes. I think this was the one you watched last week, Pat?
Yeah. This was their most recent Atlantic City weekend. Yeah,
and I know he wrestled Joey Janela after that. I think maybe this weekend. I wasn't going to watch that.
Honestly, that match...
The what? What did you think I said?
I thought you said Inoki.
Inoki? No, I didn't say Inoki.
Inoki would have fucked Mr. Danger up.
That would be sick. I'd definitely watch that.
That said, you watched Jimmy Lloyd versus Mr. Danger. Joey Janela versus Mr. Danger, not as good, but still watchable because it plays off of the Jimmy Lloyd match where Danger is completely fucked up going into it.
Okay.
And Joey Janela is just like bullying him because Janela is not a huge guy, but he's a huge guy next to Mr. Danger.
Yeah.
Danger?
You.
Get his ass.
I was trying to offer something there. But no, yeah, I think from based on your recommendations, especially with the mistake I made with Emerson Jade, I want to, if you make a recommendation, I'm going to first like seek deathmatch first. So I wanted to. I know the Jimmy Lloyd match was a death match. Was the Janela one at all?
The Janela one was not. It was. Okay. It was more just. It was like the typical GCW like hardcore rules as opposed to.
Yeah, I think the highlight of the Jimmy Floyd match, one great thing about Mr. Danger, I've only watched one match, but one great thing about, if you look at his cage match, all of his matches seem to be under 10 minutes, which is delightful. You're getting in and out. I think he definitely doesn't have like the wherewithal to fill in the gaps between a lot of his big spots, but boy, the fucking big spots just delightful. And the biggest one in that is him just Phoenix splashing face first through a pile of light tubes, and it is I don't even know if it's the most fucked up thing he does in the match. So yeah, great recommendation there, Pat. I'm very glad that I went out of my way to watch that last night post vaguely watching AEW, which I'm not going to talk about. I don't really have a ton to say about that, especially after what we said about Kenny earlier. I did watch the Matt Tremont and Joe Gacy match that Marilyn was talking about a bit. I think the only thing that I want to really add to that, everything that I have from a notes perspective, just follow Marilyn on Twitter. That everything I'd say is just clipped there. I found that out after the fact. I just watched the match, took notes, went to Maryland's Twitter, was like everything's there. I think the highlight for me is Gacy driving a shopping cart into Tremont's head while he has a pumpkin on. Surely the stuff dreams are made of. You don't get that a lot. But the only thing I'd add is that I'm just tickled to death that he comes out to KRS's one step into this world. Just white boys, who's doing it like us? I'm trans. Anywho. Love the hell out of that match too. So very, very delighted that Marilyn is as active on Twitter as she is.
I do have to add something here. Pat, you saw when you read the cage match reviews for the CZW Italy show.
The cage match review, singular.
Yeah. You saw my good friend and enemy, Paul Elaine, who has reviewed every single fucking CZW show up to 2019. Every single one. And I should just add, he hated that match.
There's this dude for ProWrestling.net, Chris Vetter, who watches just about every single American indie. He watches every GCW show. He watches every Wrestling Open show. And even though he's committed himself to watching every single GCW show ever, whenever there's a death match, his review is always just like, well, I didn't like this at all. Mr. Danger wins in 9 minutes. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't like it. And then he goes on and on about how like Miyu Yamashita versus Jordan Oliver is some kind of 5-star classic.
That's exactly
what
fucking Paul Lane's like.
Fucking thing. Like, why are you watching GCW why post a review that, I mean, I can't imagine ProWrestling.net is paying him, but why are you posting a review that's just like, I didn't like this at all and I didn't want to watch it, and also here's the exact time.
Well, that's important. I from my perspective, at least.
Upload times the cage match.
Yeah, truly. Most important people in my life at this moment.
While we talk, I am watching on mute John Wayne Murdoch versus Angel Metro from one of the recent No Holds Barred shows. He just pulled down the back of her sports bra and took a 2x4, covered it with gusset plates, and just nailed her square in the back. That is maybe the sickest thing I've seen in a little while.
You love to see it.
I say that as a positive. That it looked badass.
You love to see it. All right, other things I watched. I did watch CMLL's Homenaje a dos Leyentas. I think I did okay with that. My gringo.
You did better than I did with some of the DDT names. So don't worry.
I thought you did great, but who knows? Yeah, what to say about this match, about this show? Just fucking delightful. I'll get out of the way that I did watch the 8-man reverse elimination mask versus hair match, which I just will admit that was 30 minutes of me watching something that I just fucking could not comprehend. Some things in lucha are just way outside of my wheelhouse. That might just be because I don't watch things attentively enough, but things happened. I wouldn't be able to tell you the first fucking thing. But that was 30 minutes of my life. Also from that show, you had El Sky Team and Death Riders. Fun trios match. Death Riders in Arena Mexico is just such a fucking weird visual, just generally speaking. There are instances where they would cut promos throughout the course of the show, and it's just like this is like a 3.5 second delay between Moxley talking into the microphone, and it's just like these 4 fucking white people just standing there trying to look menacing, just absolutely hilarious. And then Moxley just pops into the mic, "Buenas noches." I just crumbled. I probably watched that about 30 times on its own. I wouldn't say I'd go out of your way to watch this match if you enjoy any of the 6 people in it. Lots of great stuff just between Moxley and Mystico. Just two dudes who are just really in their fucking bag and just really get excited to work with each other. Some good Danny Garcia stuff in there, which it's like finding a needle in a haystack these days with that guy. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Hechicero and Claudio main evented. If you're the sort of person who is so brain dead that you think both of those guys are quote jobbers because of their work in AEW, it's the match you need to see. If you still feel that way after the fact, I don't know what to tell you. You need Jesus or to die, one or the other. Wow. Okay, Orchid. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, that's true. But the highlight easily of this show is El Satanico's, I guess this is a retirement match, I think. Again, yeah, you do. I'm shocked you haven't yet.
Satanico's my 3rd favorite wrestler ever. I should probably watch it.
Yeah, this is my first El Satanico match I've ever seen. It's him versus.
So crazy to fucking drop.
Well,
into a podcast.
Well, I mean, as I mentioned in Royal Rumble. I had a very great life until a couple of years ago, so I wasn't watching a lot of CMLL. But yeah, first LC Tonico match I've seen versus Alanis and Blue Panther. I mean, if you haven't seen the clips, go out of your way to watch the match. At minimum, watch LC Tonico jump off the third step onto the entrance ramp onto Blue Panther. 2 years ago, my dad, who's now dead, slipped in a rest stop bathroom and broke his neck. He almost died. It was a miracle that he got out of that and made it 2 years beyond that. He was exactly as old as LC Tonico was in this match. And that was all I could think about is, yeah, they're just cooking them a little bit differently. 2,000 miles above sea level. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, so really, enjoyed that show. I do watch a lot of CMLL. It's not my favorite promotion. I do love it. I'm not saying I don't. But
Where do you
this was
stand on Neon?
On Neon? I don't know. He's a guy, man. I don't fucking know. I mean, I can't. The more you flip these days, the less I could give a fuck. It's just the truth of it.
I feel like this is you truly ascending into Sam's spot on the diet.
I mean, I fault you all for this, but yeah, I just think after the last year of maximalism at AEW, I just don't want to see anybody leave their fucking feet unless they're gonna Phoenix Splash themselves face first through a bunch of light tubes. Or I didn't talk about it, I wasn't on the pod, but I did finally watch the classic Danzig match with the dumb fucking bump off the top of the shed. And yeah, that's what I want. I either want you to be overweight and falling off a great height, or just keep your fucking feet on the ground. It's great down here. No reason to go
or
high.
Be 74 years old and jump off the stage.
That too. That is incredible. That
54 years old and fat.
Which I'm not going to body shame El Satanico. He's beautiful at this particular stage in his life. I don't know what he looked like prior, but that's a sexy 76-year-old man if I've ever seen one.
El Satanico is, like I said, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. You wouldn't call him a sexy man. Even in his prime.
Do you remember?
El Dandy was the hot show.
Do you remember my rankings of when I ranked the sexiest workers in the 2012 Royal Rumble? I am disgusted and broken.
I get my memory wiped after every show to keep my opinions on the match fresh.
That's fair. I don't remember either, but I think I said Rico. I mean, I'm a broken person. But yeah, other stuff I watched. I did finish. I did finish the New Japan Cup. All right, I'm powering through just because I want to. I promised myself I would do what I could to get us wrapped on what we watched in less than an hour, and I failed. But
this is your fault for watching so much shit. Just
I know,
be like
I know.
me and only watch 2 things.
I know. I take things too seriously. I did finish up my New Japan. All of y'all have been talking. Don't put this on the fuck on me. I am turning into Sam.
You're the Dan this week, so this is what being the Dan is.
That's true. Fuck.
How does this work?
Yeah.
You're the Chris.
Yeah. No.
Marilyn's the Pat.
No.
And
no.
I'm the Tanner because I'm fucking his wife.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Okay. I did finish up the New Japan Cup matches. Through my weeks-long suffering. I feel like I've been talking about this fucking tournament for months. It's only been 3 weeks. I do think that the semi... Exactly. I hope this is the one I get called on to talk about. Yeah, I think the semifinals and the finals, good watching. To say at a high level, Yui and Bolton, very good. Shota Umino and Callum Newman, I can't remember this boy's name. Some good stuff in it. I saw some people on Twitter saying that if you haven't updated your opinion on Shota Umino and Callum Newman, time to get with it. I don't know if I fucking agree with that.
I agree with half of that statement.
Which part? I gotta ask.
Shota Umino. Shota Umino is a good wrestler. I am never wrong. I am just early.
Yeah, I think that he was at fault. For my opinion, I think he was at fault at some shitty booking and putting spots that he just wasn't quite ready for. But
No, absolutely.
I don't know, it always found to
But
be decent.
I genuinely, it was a bit of a joke me loving Shola, but I genuinely do think there was something to him, and I think he's now pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm never going to like rank him, but he can. He's fine in the upper mid card over there.
I agree.
And then the main Yuya and Callum. I'm very interested. I did pay Simon to write a review for this. I don't know if he's doing it this week, but I'm very excited to see it when it comes out. I also
Did he make you pay double?
I paid double without even making, without even asking.
Okay.
The match is 30 minutes, and it's Cal new fart. So I think that it's really important to like this what I'm doing here. But I wouldn't say I'd recommend watching this match, but I did not feel like I wasted my time in it. I feel like I have so much to say about Callum Newman, and specifically his large white thighs. I'm going to save it. I feel like I'm going to keep coming back to him over the rest of the year.
Callum Newman is my only real, and I've seen Callum Newman live a couple of times before he went to New Japan. My one memory of him is he is the recipient of the first and only Wrestle Talk scholarship. So think about that and what that means.
I'm thinking.
I think we got to bring it back. I think you probably should win the next one. We could get you over to New Japan with a sword.
Leaving this website if they will pay me to talk about the 2012 Royal Rumble.
All right, I'll do what I can. Time to get on it. I'll talk to the boys.
We need a new mug first.
That's a good point.
I went to Sam offering up my girlfriend, who's a professional artist, to do a design. Got ghosted. Never replied.
See, that's the thing, because he mentioned that in the founders thing, and I was like, the other day, I was kind of like, where's the follow-up? I contacted an illustrator friend of mine to see if we could get kind of like a mascot for the site, but they are being very slow in replying to me. So maybe 2027 we'll have a cute little mascot.
Her work is sick. I hope we could figure it out. I think she'd do something really dope for us. I'll save that for the founders chat. And then the last thing I watched, I talked last week about how excited I was about Sorryism Chapter 10. And yeah, that was the show I was most looking forward to watching this week. Good show. Very much on par with a big Marvelous or Senjo show. I don't know if I'd say it's better. I think I would say it's definitively not. Considering the significance and the attendance, with it being the highest attended Joshi show of 2026, felt a little disappointing from that end. I think I enjoyed it less than I enjoyed Natsupoi and Anu's 10-year anniversary show. I definitely enjoyed it significantly less than I enjoyed Chihiro's anniversary show from last October, which probably would have been in my running for shows of the year if I cared about something like that. I continuously find myself questioning what the fuck Sorryism is supposed to be outside of just Sorry booking the homies. I
think you got it.
I think that's all it is, right?
Outside of that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Enochiism to definitively say that, but I would argue that there was some philosophical groundwork there. And I think for somebody who keeps alluding to Enochi so much, I think if you're going to do that, you need to have something deeper than I'm just going to book the homies. But if that's all it is, that's still chill. One of if not my favorite worker just to watch. I absolutely love watching Sari's matches. There's a ceiling. There was a poll going around on Twitter this week about who is better, her, Big Hosh, and I don't even think that's a fucking conversation. Big Hosh was my number one for 2025, and that was a weak output. No, not at all. I don't even think it's fucking close. I'm not going to get into that at the moment, but I do think that I'm probably going to end up doing a watch through of all of Sorryism shows so I can write something for the site about what the fuck Sorryism is supposed to be. So Yeah, I'd say the main event is good. Bit of a ceiling on the tags for those shows at this point, but it's what you're expecting out of that. The semi-main was fun too. If you are into Kaoru, not a great Natsupoi match, not a bad Natsupoi match. I like Kaoru a lot. If that's the only place that books her, damn shame. But yep, those two matches were fun for what it was, and yeah, I'd say I think I enjoyed the pre-card matches more than just about everything else on the show, which was kind of a bummer. But yeah, is what it is.
Also, I'm calling it now. We are going to have to watch America's Got Talent when Chan Yoda appears on it.
Yeah, I will be texting you, baby girl. I cannot wait. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I cannot wait for Pat to find out about this. And I will also say too, I've been searching for that T-shirt for you to no avail in the depths
No,
of
I
eBay.
mean the thing was, I should have jumped on it earlier. When she was selling it from her online store, she had a T-shirt that I thought looked really cool. For anyone listening who doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about. She had a T-shirt that looked really cool. It was like a Master P style pen and pixel type thing that everyone likes to do now. I should have just done one of those fucking what is it, like the intermediary services where they buy it for you and then you pay $100 to mail it.
Yeah,
because by the time that she opened up her store to direct purchases from outside Japan, it was like, okay, there's one left and it's size medium in Japanese sizes, and I'm kind of like, pretty sure by Japanese sizes I'm like a 3XL.
Yeah, I don't even want to know what I am at this point. That's a conversation for the Body Dysmorphia podcast. Talking body dysmorphia.
To VP of violent people near you.
But yeah, Chan Yoda, she's going to be on America's Got Talent with a bunch of the like muscle bartenders that she works with, which I guess is a viral thing.
Yeah,
I don't follow TikTok enough or at all. I do kind of wonder why they're on America's Got Talent, but maybe that show just ran out of talented people from America.
There's only like
there's
5 talented Americans, and most of them have died by this point.
Well, there's LeBron, there's me.
LeBron's past it at this point.
But Pat is not.
No, Pat's in his
I'm only 40. Life's just beginning.
Because different outlook than I have. It's somebody who's 40 years old.
I can't wait for Pat to get their brawny on the podcast.
What was that?
To get their since you're LeBron, who's your brawny?
Oh,
to get on the podcast.
Yeah,
your cat.
Amigo, I would love to get Amigo on here.
He tried earlier.
They would talk more than Marilyn.
I mean, like Marilyn, he is eating right now, so.
Hell yeah. Shouts to eating. Shouts to eating everywhere. I'm excited to do it. Hopefully once this is over. We'll see. All right. Yeah, that would be that on what we've watched. In terms of updates for the site, I think that's what's next on the agenda. I don't fucking know. Yep. Yeah, cool, great. Yeah, so we are smack dab in the middle of VP 100 outroll season, the greatest time to be alive. Everyone's saying it. Chris has been doing a great job of rolling those out. I think, as we said earlier, I think we're up to honorable mention number 5 at this point. So check that out. See where you're at in terms
honorable mentions part 6, covering numbers 500 through 401. So we still have to nail down the top 400 wrestlers of 2025.
And who better to do it but us? Probably fucking nobody.
And the 65 people who voted.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have 4 high votes so far.
Besides that one person who voted for that New Japan wrestler who didn't have a match.
Yeah, Hinare. Yeah. Someone voted for Hinare, and no one bothered to check because it's like, Hinare, who gives a shit? I think I have something like 60 high votes at this point because my entire ballot is already gone.
I think I have 8 or 7, I think. I know I share one with you, Pat. We share the Tim Strange high vote.
I very quickly got to the point where I could not fit any more in a single tweet, and then I just said, okay. You know,
I am very grateful.
I have 4. I have Demonio Infernal, Yoshihiko, who I don't remember if they actually even had a match.
They did.
Made it.
It's Suzuki. It was
And
awesome.
I saw that. I was like, I'm
never
so
mind,
glad
it's
I didn't vote for Yoshi.
Me too.
it was actually 3. It was Demonio Infernal, Yoshihiko, and Estrella Divina.
imagine the NWO that they would form.
I think
I'm-
so. In this recent one, I got Cyber Black and El Galigo. So I got some Zona.
That's why Chris isn't on tonight. He's probably so mad that someone scooped him on those two.
Yeah, I was the sole voter on both of them. So clearly,
Oh, even worse.
Chris doesn't know Lucha like I know Lucha. I think is what we're taking away from this.
My high votes are Ryan Mooney, Iceman, Yori, El Lindemann, and Saki Kashima, which is fucking cursed. I'm very glad to know that I'm the only person who voted for El Lindemann. That's a good thing.
El Higo de Parata Morgan. I think, like I said, I have Tim Strange, which I share with Pat. I have Paul Ishida, who I didn't know I voted for.
What even happened to El Lindemann? Is he still in fucking GLEAT or whatever?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, I have
Okay, yeah, that explains it.
I just have Karila. I was shocked I was the sole voter because Estrella Divine got a couple of votes. And like both of their best work is when they were facing each other this year.
I think the only reason El Lindemann got any vote for me is I watched a couple of his matches the day I got to Staten Island to start cleaning out my parents' house. And I just got so triggered so fast, and I was just like, I need to watch something I don't fucking care about, and that's just how he made it onto my list, and I was just honoring that very weird 3 weeks of my life. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. I wrote again about Pat's favorite show of 2026. DVD.
You say that like it's a joke, but it's true.
I know, right? Yeah. I didn't say it like it's a joke. I just said it. Yeah, I wrote about Death Valley Days Road Report. It took a little bit longer than I wanted to get up, mostly because I decided to do this fucking podcast full time. But yeah, that's up. I'm really happy with how that looked. And check out that show, read the piece if you want. I think that's about it, right? No other podcasts to my knowledge.
Yeah, and Eric liked that one, unlike the podcast.
Eric sent me a message about it. I had a little panic attack about it, but it was positive.
This is just Violent People adjacent rather than on the site, but follow at Marilyn of Death on Twitter and be sure to reply to everything. She loves hearing your thoughts. She loves hearing your takes. Especially
if something's culturally inappropriate. That's the area.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Make sure to remind me. Make sure to remind me of Madman Pondo's Nazi gimmick every single post.
She has no clue. She doesn't know. She wakes up, forgets it all.
I'll give some spoilers on the Iron Man ranking. I did use the Nazi image.
Oh my god! Fucking
I make
Christ!
A really good Neo Shirai joke out of it.
I'm sure you do. If there's one thing you're good at, it's jokes. We all know this.
There should be not. Tanner doesn't fuck me again. There should be another podcast by next week.
Yeah, and if Tanner's not fucking you, he's fucking his wife. So at least we got that going on. Yeah, pivoting on to our big top for this week. This week we are talking about something that we never talk about on this podcast. Definitely something that doesn't come up as a big top once every 4 to 6 weeks. The downfall and decline of Figure 4 Wrestling / Wrestling Observer newsletter. Last week on the Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast from the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, I think, Jesse Collins had on Trevor Dame, long tenured fuck, Pat would be able to know this better than I would. Just person who posted on the Observer newsletter who will say something so freakishly insane every 6 weeks or so that he has to apologize to just about every marginalized group in America.
That's more him on Twitter.
Yes, that's more him on Twitter. Yeah.
On the board, I don't think anyone ever apologized for anything.
No. And I'm unsure if Trevor needs to apologize for anything besides outside of learning how to self-filter sometimes if you're going to say that kind of shit. But that's not a conversation for me to be had. So this would have been episode 130. It's titled The Downfall of F4W/WON. I know that Pat and I rushed off the podcast last week to listen to it. Not really. Pat went to bed. I probably stayed up till 5 a.m. And I did
listen to it the next day.
You did listen to it the next day. Do you listen to him on your route?
I didn't do this one because usually when I'm on my route, I have all the podcast apps and stuff, and I'm not adding fucking whatever the fuck this is, Gentleman's Wrestling to my podcatcher thing. So I'm just going to listen to it in my web browser at home.
Yeah. I think this was maybe the second or third episode of Jesse's show that I've listened to. I like Jesse quite a bit, just as a person. But yeah, so he had Trevor on to kind of talk about the downfall of the Figure 4 online board. I think for me, the reason why I really like the idea of hopping on this is that's how I know Pat. I signed up for the Observer newsletter. I same age as Pat, read the Observer pretty religiously on GeoCities websites that would basically pirate it during the Attitude Era. I think I would also read probably a lot of Mike Johnson writing in that time too. A couple of my pals were really into spoilers and like telling them to us on Monday. So I was just all right, if this shit's gonna get fucking ruined for me, I'll take ownership of it myself. But Metzler was one of the only names who throughout the various lives that I've lived in, I've lived quite a fucking lot of them. He's the only name that really stuck out to me. But I never really subscribed to the board. I'm definitely a forum head. I was a part of a lot of forums in the 2000s. A lot of them were club music related. I used to be a club kid. Probably not too shocking if you know my gender identity. But I never really screwed around with the board. But when I did sign up in 2021, Pat has told me before in passing that the magic of that site has long been dead. And I couldn't agree more, but I really gravitated to Pat because he seemed to be the only person who was interested in talking about anything besides AEW or WWE. And I really wasn't watching a lot of
you missed the topic. There was AEW, there was WWE, and there was AEW versus WWE.
That's a good point.
And there was Joshi.
Yeah, ish, right?
Well, there was a lot of, it was threads that had 400,000 posts from 3 guys all being well, this Marigold match I just saw is even better than the last Marigold match I saw.
And you're reminding me too that a fun thing that sort of would happen back on then was, remember Sonny being on the board? Do you know?
Yes. For a second, I thought you were talking about Tammy Sitch. I'm I don't remember that. No. Sonny, the Stardom freak. Yeah. Rossi's manservant.
Yes, Rossi's manservant. So
you know the bit in Goodfellas when he's just listing all the different mobster names.
That'd be fitting.
So Sonny was, I don't know if he's American or Canadian or whatever, but he was the start, and he probably still does this for Marigold. I have no idea.
He does,
but he was the webmaster and production guy, and would do the subtitling and stuff for Stardom World.
Yeah, and so he would post a lot of behind the scenes stuff about Stardom in the Stardom thread. He stopped posting right around the time Kenny Omega vaguely alluded to Roshi Ogawa being a pedophile on his Twitch stream. He defended Roshi and then just disappeared off the face of the earth from the board. And it was around that time that Dave Metzler stopped getting scoops about Stardom.
Yep.
So one of those instances where it was like abundantly clear who his source was in that
Well,
case.
historically, Dave always kind of, if it wasn't something he was actively interested in, like say, Greco-Roman wrestling from Wisconsin, it was like you could tell who was writing to him. Like, that's
Yeah.
the joke is that every AAA story was, somehow about Conan because he was the one telling. So Sonny was the one feeding him all the Stardom stuff, and eventually he would do the Dave special where he would be like, somewhere buried in the newsletter, he'd say like, I watched. I'm just going to make up a match. Sari versus Saya Kamitani. I'd give it 4.5 stars. Moving on.
Yep. Yeah. And it's one of those things too where I do wonder I mean, it's rare. I know there's that bit running online about Dave Metzler being sexist because he doesn't give 5-star matches to women's all the time. For me personally, I couldn't give a flying fuck about that. On this one.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, we would love to have Meltzer on this podcast.
I would just love to talk to Dave, just hang out with him.
Dave has blocked me on both of my social media accounts.
Am I?
Yeah,
I keep asking him to vote in the VPR, so or not the VP 100.
I got blocked because he said this fine match on a Ring of Honor show would have been like a 4 3/4 back in 1997. And I quote tweeted it saying, Dave, I want to love you, stop saying dumb shit. And then he was apparently that's a mean thing to say.
I would disagree. But
he hasn't blocked me yet.
I'm glad to hear that. I know I've been blocked by him because I make video. I set his podcast to lo-fi. And upload that to YouTube, and I usually pirate it. He's long been a target of my vitriol. So, but what I ended up doing was he did say something stupid, and I retweeted it from my personal account, only so I could retweet it from my wrestling account, the one I know y'all on, and then he blocked me on my original one because I was like, Dave blocked me, so I tweeted this from my personal account just to retweet it. And that's how I got a block. I can't for the life of me know what I did. Marilyn, I'm curious
if you were hyping the Meltzer wave thing.
No, it wasn't that. I think when I would often get on his ass a lot on the board about the thing that drives me crazy about Dave is let me hold that off before I get to that. Marilyn, I'm just curious from your viewpoint, because I know what you're watching these days. I don't really know a whole lot about your history in wrestling. What is your relationship to Dave Metzler? I'm so glad I finally got to ask you this.
This is
I don't.
Unico episode. Primo episode. Fuck.
Like I said, I'm completely fourth wheel in this podcast. I don't really have much of a relationship with Meltzer at all.
I think he truly is one of the most fascinating figures in professional wrestling.
Obviously, I did read The Observer a bunch. I like going through old Observers and just seeing what he got wrong, what he got right, all that shit. I loved reading old WCW ones where he thought fucking Van Hammer was going to be the next Hulk Hogan, shit like that.
Here's my thing: I've never read The Observer or engaged with anything Meltzer's really put out.
Actually, I'm going to challenge you on that, Porg. Have you ever read any wrestling news anywhere?
No, okay. You know what I mean.
But if you've read, even a single Wrestle Purist's tweet, you've read The Observer, because that's all they're doing.
But I've never sat down to I'm gonna read the Observer.
Oh, I thought you just said suck down, and I was like, well, where is this going? Well. Yeah.
I'd suck down Meltzer. Fuck it.
I would too. I'll be entirely honest.
On the podcast you made me listen to, which I'm still furious about, I think you maybe listen to a fucking Vow podcast.
Yeah, I did.
The point that really set up was Meltzer is Bill Simmons. Like, that really struck with me because I like Bill Simmons quite a lot.
I did get a big kick. I think that one of the things about that podcast that like really tickled me a lot was I loved that Jesse, and I think I say this affectionately. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I'm saying this affectionately. The thing that really killed me the most about that was like there were the parts of the podcast where Trevor was trying to be like, well, they have to, like, the Observer has to make money, and Jesse's response was just like, I don't fucking care. I was like, man, like you
Yeah, that was
like,
the correct response.
I know, but like I kind of, I mean, I'm an anarchist. Like I ain't charging no money for wrestling fucking related content. As somebody who, I'm pretty sure I fund a lot of people in our community's wrestling habits with like all the streaming services I pay for and the passwords I give out. But like,
I would say 90% of the wrestling I've watched this year has been funded through you.
I love that. I'm happy to hear it. I'm just getting started. Just getting started. As soon as I sell my parents' house, we're getting Santino on the Royal Rumble. I'll tell you that much. God, we're gonna do some fucking stupid things with that money when I sell that house for $750,000. Yeah, I think the thing that I just really you want to move to Staten Island? Two. No,
okay,
three.
I'm 3. Okay, I got to talk to my brother. He's shopping.
All right.
He's not going to move to Staten Island though. So
who would? But I did get a big kick though out of like Jesse like having very clear ideas about what he wanted the Observer to be, including saying that he would be interested in taking over responsibility for the Observer Hall of Fame.
My favorite,
but while also saying,
my favorite thing about the podcast is how I can't think of a less vulgar way of putting it. He kept sucking himself off about like how great Vow is.
Right.
About the Observer should really be more like Vow.
Right. Yeah. And I kept thinking in my head, it was like, why don't you just fucking run your own fucking Hall of Fame? I mean, like, look at us fucking dipshits. Like, I mean, we have a fucking Hall of Fame. Like,
we Hall of Fames. I have one.
That's true. Good point. A fact I've forgotten multiple times on this podcast. But yeah, I did just get a big kick out of him. He was just like, I really wish that Dave was better at talent development. I was like, what? He was just like talking about how like great Grantland and The Ringer was for talent development, which
yeah, that's the thing. It's like Meltzer isn't Bill Simmons. Like, it's like,
no.
You get the point. Also, I really think when Meltzer dies, I think we'll be at the point in time someone will make an AI Meltzer. I think that's the future.
Yeah, his name is Sean Ross Sapp.
I did love when they pitched that maybe there's an opportunity for Brian, once Dave is dead, to bring Sean Ross Sapp in, and that him and Brian could have a podcast together 5 days a week. And
I would rather kill myself.
I would beg you to kill me first. I cannot imagine something that we as a society or species need less than those two men having those two petulant babies having conversations with each other.
On Twitter who said like they're devoting their life to exposing the lies of.
Oh yeah, Colin.
Yeah, I replied to that making a joke about like, come on the 2012 Royal Rumble podcast. Sean was Sapp liked that tweet. Maybe have an end.
You should get Sean on there. I would
have Sean on the show.
I'm gonna send so many DMs tonight.
He has to be coked up, or else I'm not doing it.
I mean, he's gonna do it anyway. He's just gonna pretend it's cold medicine.
I mean, whomst among us hasn't?
So my favorite part of that thing was Trevor recalling that, and this is absolutely true. Meltzer did not know how to use the forum on the site. He didn't know how to do any, and so for context, I would jokingly post "I'm a mod" in response to people until they actually made me a mod. And the back end of the site was kind of just stapled together. It was like old forum software. It was not efficient or graceful. Admin Tony and whoever else were just, kind of making it work with like rickety old wood. But Dave did not know how to do. He didn't know how to ban people. He didn't know how to edit his own posts. I seem to remember him not knowing how to quote people for a long time. And it was just the most awesome thing because he was in there like interacting with people, but like he just had no idea how to use his own forum's shitty software. And that's kind of the best part of it all. Like, I wish they had gotten into more of the crazy shit. Like, there used to be a pictures forum, and as you might expect, during the 2000s and very early 2010s, this was mostly pornography. At some point in the 2010s, they decided, okay, we're not going to have a porn subforum. We're just going to have a pictures subforum. At which point it was all like pictures of like WWE divas and TNA knockouts. And then at some point, the board, must have been around 2015 or 2016, the board just disappeared. And in the explanation for it was that Dave was at a press event talking to some UFC executive who said that the picture forum was embarrassing. And it was just such a surreal, only in Dave Meltzer land explanation.
Pat, it gives me great pride to tell you that you just told this story last week.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Did we talk about the board that much?
I don't know. I
kind of remember you
talking
talking about that.
Yeah, you definitely talked
about
it. But yeah,
like that sort of thing where it wasn't even inmates running the asylum. It was just like an asylum that someone built somewhere, and there was one star attraction and everything else was just chaos and nonsense.
If I could ask a question of you. In this podcast, Trevor, who I quite like, Trevor, claimed he was the king of the board. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a whole multi-stage polling thing.
You fucking losers.
I mean, this is what forum culture was, and Orchid, you can probably back me up on this. This is what forum culture was. It was basically just coming up with ways to justify continuing to use the forum to fuck around.
Yeah, and the biggest forum that I was a part of was called Sick Tracks. RIP to Sick Tracks. I am 40. And yeah, again, it was like mostly about New York City afterlife. After I was clubs, and like when I was on it, I was like 18, and a lot of the people who were on, like I like when I was in the club scene, it was like post glory days. Like if you've seen Party Monster, like that, it would have been 10 to 15 years after that. It's like all the good clubs will close down, but it was like the majority of people were like in their 30s or like late 20s, 30s, 40s, and yeah, you would just do whatever the fuck you can to just keep the community going. And I think it's like probably really interesting because like it definitely seems like there's like with the Observer, like when you track the Observer history, like there's obviously a period where there was no wrestling in the universe that Dave cared about, and he had to like care about MMA. And like I just, for the life of me, I just like wonder like what in the flying fuck were y'all talking about besides like Trish Stratus's tits? Like
that's where a lot of kind of the early wrestling Twitter personalities though came from, like Alan and Trevor Dame and all this. They started on the board and then eventually kind of left the board, migrated out to like VOW or Reddit or whatever. But it was the breeding, like they were still talking about wrestling and MMA and everything else. It's just that Dave was only talking about how Connor did pro wrestling better than wrestling.
Yeah.
I will say my favorite stupid board story, and you can cut me off if I've told this one before.
I would never.
This was when the Hulk Hogan N-word tape came out. And as you can imagine, everyone was being extremely normal about it. There were a lot of like kind of grown-up AJ Soprano types on the board who just, I imagine, being from or at least in the vicinity of Staten Island, Orchid, you know exactly the sort of person I'm talking about,
Oh,
where
yeah.
they will bend over backwards to be like, well, it's not like he,
Yeah.
like actually, like owned a slave, but it was such an insane, and I waded into the thread and just wrote something like, man, there sure are a lot of pissed off honkies in this thread. And this led to all the total freaks declaring that the forum enabled the racism of a moderator, because I was a moderator at this point. They started accusing me of being racist for saying honky. And there was this one guy who I think his name was Ninja Checkmate, who just got so angry about it and was like, well, if you guys aren't going to do anything about a mod, being racist, then I'm just going to, do that. And then he just posts the N-word and
That seems
gets
logical.
immediately banned.
Oh, man.
Like,
There are a lot
that's the kind of forum this
story.
was.
Yeah, the way I can
It is the best
tell
one, though.
honkies isn't a bad word is I don't know what it means, so it can't be that bad.
It just means white people. It's a very, very gently derogatory. The other mega thread I can remember people being extremely normal in was when Paige's sex tape leaked.
Oh, God, I can't imagine. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, you can imagine. And it was
No.
there were people who were very upset that she disrespected the NXT women's title by letting Brad Maddox nut on it. I still think about that to this day. Like, the people who their takeaway from it was like, they need to strip her of that title now.
I do want someone who's like, Paige sex tape, it killed the kayfabe. I mean, that's the curtain call. The curtain pull. Hey.
This is also a forum where I do remember, speaking of Paige, this is unlocking more memories. Like, people would get into protracted arguments about whether or not it was inherently sexual when Paige would crawl across the ring. So, I mean,
what did y'all decide?
I think everyone decided that the one guy who was ready to like shoot himself, declaring that there was nothing sexual about how she crawled across the ring on all fours, he was getting a little too weird about his denials.
The thing I'll say about the Observer forum, especially, is that it's wrestling, right? So everyone's fucking insane. Like, we are an hour.
I'm a very normal person. I don't. Where is this coming from?
You need to. It is like 6 a.m.
That'd be way more normal if it was 6 a.m.
But I think the thing about the Observer, and it still remains true to this day, is that if you think the strangest people in the wrestling universe exist on Twitter, they don't. They exist on the Observer message board. My subscription has lapsed. I'm not paying anymore. I have figured out a way to pirate it, and I basically just listen to Dave like to get through my workday. It just reminds me of my dad, just like an old man rambling me about something I barely care about. Perfect. But the two folks that really that got attracted over the last like 2 years that have just been really fascinating was there was a guy who was called the quote professor. That was his name. The reason why he was called quote the professor is because he insisted that he was an expert in ratings and had proof that, and he also said that he taught a graduate level class in the DMV area about television ratings and specifically a focus on WWE. He also claimed that he was a brain surgeon. I never doxed him, but I am happy to say in this podcast that both of those things were bold-faced lies. Because I did find his link. I found everything out about this guy, including
he was actually a heart surgeon.
Yeah, no, he's not. He made. I'm not doxing him. He had threatened to sue me countless times because he would often post photos about Britt Baker's. He would often respond to photos of Britt Baker about how she needed to gain more weight to be sexy. Somebody put that on the board to be like, hey, like you say you care about women a lot, because he got very upset about that boxer who was accused of being trans and was not trans in the Olympics.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, and so he was like talking about women's safety and all of this nonsense, and someone brought up the things that he would say about women wrestlers' bodies on Twitter, and he threatened legal action against all those people. He ended up getting banned, and then came back about 6 months later, pretending to be a trans woman, and I was like.
And that's Marilyn, and we've finally caught them. They're in the call right now.
It's me and Marilyn, depending on the day. But
wow.
But I remember just being like, I was just kind of being like, he was saying some very insane things about the way women were being responded to in the board, and I kind of like tried to be like, all right, like he was saying like really like just things about like how like thoughtless everybody in the board was, and bless their heart, there are a lot of sweet men that are still on there. I like a lot of them a lot. And I just kind of be like, I was like, all right, like calm down, you know? And then he was like, you as my trans sister, like realize, and then it just was like so fucking abundantly clear that it was the same person. And so that was one person who came to the board recently. And then there was another guy who.
Can I just say real quick? I'm picturing like the Simpsons episode where like Homer goes to space and there's like all of this equipment is just to measure ratings. That's what I'm picturing this entire time.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt with a nothing comment that doesn't add anything to the...
Perfectly okay. The other person who joined recently, probably the month before I left, was a person who just started a thread called Greatest Wrestler Ever, and then posted, without asking any questions, in broken English, his top 500 wrestlers of all time. And then someone was like, do you have any more? And he ended up listing 6,000 wrestlers via ranking in broken English. And like people were like, this guy's nuts. I was like, no, we need to like, keep going.
Is it Shodate?
I'm not sure.
I've never felt so much hope in my life that Shodate is still alive and doing weird shit on forums.
People were kind of defending him for a bit. And then within weeks, he started questioning age of consent laws.
Okay, so this is now I'm getting even stronger Shodate vibes, yes.
Saying very anti-Semitic things. And that's what you have to deal with.
Who was their favorite wrestler?
Musawa.
Oh, God. Okay, well, nothing was lost there.
I will go back. I have someone in the Discord will probably have screenshots of his list. I was having the time of my life at that. I remember people were really upset that I think he had Hornswoggle above Will Ospreay. Don't quote me on that, but
never mind. They're back. We're so back.
No lies told.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that really upset a lot of people, and that's when they were like really ragging on him.
I can excuse anti-Semitism, but Hornswoggle.
Yeah,
that kind of is like the classic era of the board in a nutshell, right there. Yeah, I can excuse the anti-Semitism, but liking Hornswoggle.
I would say, as a very proud Irishman, Hornswoggle is a bit offensive. It's mostly fine.
Well,
there's
he's
occasionally
not really a leprechaun anymore. Now he's
fine.
The man in little leather pants
who complains about Peter Dinklage.
All right. Well, since we're almost at 2 hours, and
I do want to give a shout out before we get off this. I want to give a shout out to the two best posters in the board history, my boys Seftaxius and Big Heavy Guy. Wherever you two are, I love you both.
No love for Meaty Fist.
I mean the bit kind of wore thin after a little while.
Yeah. I'm gonna send Pork some Meaty Fist photos. I think he'll enjoy them.
I can picture them in my head, like so perfect.
Honestly, please do. Drawing. I have no idea what this is. I'm so excited.
Check the.
It's honestly who we should get to do the violent people. Like we don't need a mascot. Idea. We need the Meaty Fist Dave face.
Oh my god. I will not say anything more about him outside of once this episode is posted. If you're listening, check the VP updates. I will post some of my favorite Meaty Fist drawings. One of my favorite artists of all time.
He always drew Dave with like fucking wine corks for nips.
You are saying more than I want you to right now, but that's accurate.
Oh, I've gone to Google. I found some great stuff already.
Yeah, let's keep this under wraps. I think seeing him for the first time is yeah, it's just good to know that Rule 34 is even true of Dave Metzler or Brian Alvarez. And yeah, on that note, let's navigate over to what the fuck do we call this?
Q&AR.
Q&AR. All right.
A name
Yeah.
that rolls off. It rolls. It's like a wheel.
Wait a minute, I'm in charge. Let's go over to the fucking wacky line. We're popping over to the wacky line. I'm bringing it.
Still the same sound effect, though.
Completely. What in the fuck? Where did these questions start? Oh God.
This is the hell that happens every episode, where it's like, okay, submit your questions, and then there's 200 lines of chat that all of us freely participate in about, like, you know, which was the best aerial bot or something.
I'm trying to scroll up until the last episode was posted, and then work.
Oh, I got us. Here we are, because I do remember. Yeah, it's a question from Pork.
Oh God.
Question for the podcast: how embarrassed are you that Orchid is carrying the site? I
Not at all.
hate this. Okay, great.
No, I think it's awesome.
Orchid is a sweetie, and I love her.
I love you too a lot. I hate attention.
I'm a big fan.
I kind of burned out on the death panel just because, one, the matches weren't exciting me as much, and two, it was kind of existing in a vacuum where I had no idea if anyone was actually reading it.
I did.
Well,
I think we are.
So
I think we are the two people who wrote stuff for it beside you.
Yeah, oh no, Smoltz did, a few other people.
Oh, okay.
Henry Headcheese, it's me. But no, I just kind of burned out very quick. And then I see Orchid just like doing stuff like the Death Valley Days review and the Sabu book report. And I'm just kind of like, oh, well, you know, at least someone's writing good stuff for the site instead of me just, you know, like farting something out about an Angel Metro match.
I quite love your writing.
Orchid, what I really admire about your writing is, you know, how big to make something. Like, you pick the perfect, because, like, look, I've talked about this a lot, the DDT piece I'm working on. I'm like 20% done and incredibly burned out on it, because I've picked something way too large to write about. But I love, like, it's so, get your point across in such an efficient way. I really love reading your pieces.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. I have to give credit where credit is due. Without Joseph and Simon as models,
they get enough credit.
No, they do. But I'm going to use that to segue to.
We should actually give them less credit.
I am. I'm going to give a bigger shout out to somebody else.
No. To I'm not just you. Everyone.
One thing I love about this podcast is you're my favorite person in the world until we're 2 hours deep and I want to fucking kill you. I'm turning into Dan. I hate this. Dan, come back.
So I'm gonna put this front and center just so that people can actually comment on VP updates. If I pitched this to the other guys once, and then they said that's a good idea, and we never did anything about it. My idea was, instead of the what we watched being a comprehensive accounting of everything we watched in the past week, each of us just coming with one match to recommend.
That's a great idea.
So if you think that we should do that instead of listing every single fucking Cerebro Negro match that I watched, you know, let us know in VP updates. Give us feedback.
I think that is a great idea, but I think it's an idea that would make the podcast better. So I disagree with it on that spiritual level.
That's fair. That's more than fair.
The thing I appreciate the most about this podcast is that I wouldn't recommend a single fucking person to listen to it. So anything that makes it more listenable, I don't know if I like. The point I was trying to make here is I just want to give a big shout out to Colette Arand. Colette is a friend of mine. We've known each other since before we both came out as trans. We used to collaborate a lot on some poetry related things, and she was really like harping on me to do some writing related to wrestling when she was still editing Fanbite. I never got around to it because I didn't have the confidence to do it. And I think that, like, knowing y'all, doing the work to like, educate myself a little bit more about like how to talk about wrestling. I just want to be able to do it. So more than anything, I just want to say like, thanks y'all for your compliments, but shout out big to Colette because I wouldn't be able to do any of this without.
Shout out Colette.
Yeah, one of my faves ever. All right, here's a great question on the next one's coming from Haven. Question for the pod: how do you pronounce that person's name? Pat, how do you pronounce Patrick's name?
I've got a story relating to Patrick, so let's go with this.
Okay. Go over it.
So
I didn't have the Discord open, so I didn't see who it was referring to.
Oh, it's my name.
Okay.
I am called Padraig. It's an Irish name. People struggle with Irish names, which is fine. But my dad is also called Padraig. He grew up in England, and he went to a boarding school, and no teachers or fellow classmates could ever get his name right. So everyone called him Patrick. Now everyone calls him Patrick. Like friends, family, his like passport says Patrick. He's committing fraud. That's how much he calls Patrick. And I just think it's insane. He went through all of that and then he fucking calls me Padraig.
You've just basically so elegantly illustrated what generational trauma is.
Yeah.
And like it was hard.
They have it over there too.
It does remind me of the time when it was Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir in the UFC. And in the the run up to it with all the pre-fight interviews and stuff, Brock kept calling him Frank Mir. Until, finally in like one of his own things, like other people started saying like Frank Mir instead of Frank Mir to Frank Mir.
And then like I was born in Ireland, but I moved to England when I was very young. And kids in school very quickly learned porridge sounds a bit like porridge. I haven't eaten this stuff since.
I might have told you this before, but my dad wanted to give me that spelling, but he was under the impression that it was pronounced Patrick. But he wanted to spell it like your name. And
I pronounce it a bit wrong. It's more technically supposed to be Padraig.
Padraig, right? Like what? Like paw. Like there's a silent W, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like PAW. Padraig is how you properly supposed to say it, but I go by Padraig.
I usually write down my coworkers' names when I can't pronounce their names, like on a sticky note, and I am not going to do that for you. I'm just going to continue to struggle through this.
It's fine. I might go back to pork. Pork seemed easier.
All right. Question on the pod from Andy. Question for the pod. What should I name this? And I'm sharing my screen.
What am I looking at here?
It looks like a lemon lime cream soda with like boba bubbles in it.
Those are some sort of fancy ice.
I think you should call it Slimer's Jizz.
Slimer's Jizz. Okay. Yeah, great.
Sorry, it's not the most creative.
Better than that. No, it's pretty good. Yeah, Slimer's Jizz. Anybody have any other?
I was going to suggest The Secret of the Ooze.
The Secret. That's good.
I was talking with my brother about that movie the other day. We're going to go another 3 hours because we got to get into Secret of the Ooze talk.
Is that the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
That's the second one.
Yeah,
that's the one with Kevin Nash.
It's actually quite funny. Is Lena with 2012 Royal Rumble is a rip-off of a podcast who did a bit when they watched that movie like a bunch of times in like in a week.
All right, question for the pod. Worst match from your favorite wrestler. I will go ahead and say probably Sorry versus Yuri at Sorryism, whatever fucking one they had that main event draw.
I'll go with
Sabu's never had a bad match.
Terry Funk's worst match is probably versus Eric Bischoff.
I was gonna say the exact same fucking thing. You stole my answer, you motherfucker.
I don't know. From what I remember, like, what's the worst Azure Kong match?
Probably isn't
I don't
one.
know.
Probably isn't one.
I can't think of who my favorite wrestler is. I don't know.
Bill Alfonso,
Bill Alfonso. Well, he's more of a personality than a
if
wrestler.
you say so.
What's the
All right.
I
best
don't know.
match from your least favorite
I am
wrestler?
going to get into. I'm just going to skip to the next. I've got an answer for the next question, so let's move along.
Okay, great. Question for the pod. Fuck, marry, kill. William Henry Harrison, Millard Fillmore, and Grover Cleveland.
All
I
right,
know
so
who one of those is.
this well, they are all presidents of the
Presidents.
19th century. This
I know
is
Cleveland.
it's interesting that Cole asked two pre-Civil War presidents and one post-Civil War. But so this involves some political compromises on my part. I'm going to kill Millard Fillmore because he backed as part of the Compromise of 1850, he backed the Fugitive Slave Act, which enabled bounty hunters to round up runaway slaves and often just kidnap free black people under the guise of them being fugitive slaves. I think that is more monstrous than anything either of the other two did. So kill him. I'm going to marry William Henry Harrison. He's also not a great slavery guy. He was a big proponent of states' rights as far as slavery goes, which we all saw how that turned out. But he died very early in his term, so I would marry him and inherit the generational, like, wealthy Virginia landowner wealth. Grover Cleveland, I would fuck basically by default. Not an attractive guy. The problem I have with Grover Cleveland is that he was like a strike buster. The railroad workers went on strike, and he brought in the Army and the Navy to do all this stuff. I really don't agree with that. I'm very pro-union. Also very pro-union in the Civil War. But in this case, I mean, I guess I'd fuck him and try to just throw my ass at him in such a way that he rethinks his ideas on labor unions.
That was Grover Cleveland, right?
Grover Cleveland.
Okay, great. All right, fantastic. I think
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks, Marilyn. I was going to you next.
Is there an ideal U.S. president to fuck? Or like all of them?
Out of all of them, Slick Willie, obviously.
God.
Oh, I'm going sticky with Taft.
I dated a girl.
Taft would be that one scene in The Happiness of the Katakuris where the woman dies in the hotel because her obese, older lover is just on top of her and dies during sex.
What?
I would do Reagan if I could get Nancy in a freeway.
I would do Jimmy Carter if it was during his hospice stay. Just teabagging his permanently open mouth.
Dan, I miss you so much. Come back.
Dan want to be engaging with which U.S. president to fuck. Don't give Dan that. I have a podcast to record with Dan tomorrow. Don't give him that credit.
There is a big difference between being being alongside Pat versus trying to reel Pat in that I did not know existed until tonight. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want to go back to loving Pat. Question for the Padraig. Do Chechi soccer players play as dirty as their hockey players?
Yep, cheating bastards.
All right. Question for the Pat. Question for the PAT. What's a real freak nasty movie you want the server to watch?
I thought about this.
You missed my Harry Potter question.
It's probably not the kind of freak nasty that they're looking for, but I was thinking about this movie the other day. It came out about 10 years ago. It's called The Love Witch. I can't remember if it was the director or the star who got canceled for some unchill opinions regarding gender, if I remember correctly. But The Love Witch itself was a very fun movie.
Anna Byer, right? Anna Byler?
Yeah.
Yeah, love that movie.
Yeah,
It's
I
awesome.
mean, it's a good movie. It's very freak nasty in a genteel and appealing way.
Cue for the podcast. Sort these wrestlers into Hogwarts houses. Jack Perry, Swerve Strickland, Mike Bailey, and Tommaso Ciampa.
I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
They are all muggles.
Whoever posted that, kill yourself.
Whoever posted that, I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
Whoever posted that epic, kill yourself.
Yeah, let's go. All right, question for the pod, cue for the P from Isabel. How does this tweet make you feel? I will read it. Cultaholic Wrestling. On this day in 1820, the founder of the Church of Latter-day Saints, also known as Mormons, Joseph Smith, had his first vision. This is similar when Hulk Hogan started to have visions of the Ultimate Warrior in WCW.
Look, this tweet is bad. It is not that different to my writing style, so I'm going to try and be nice.
I think we should end British people.
I think that you are much better than this, Padraig. Hey, Migo.
Yep, the Migo is right next to my earbud. You know, it's funny. Millard Fillmore actually was the one who appointed Brigham Young to be the territorial governor of Utah. So we kind of have Fillmore to blame for all that shit. Another reason to kill him.
All right. It's a Millard Fillmore podcast, then. Things you'll find out. Question for the podcast of record from Dan Rice. Violent People Radio, I miss y'all. Why is that? Because deep down within your cold, callous heart is, or cold, callous shell is a man made of beautiful, sweet crumble cookies.
Dan, I'm seeing you tomorrow to record a podcast at 6 a.m. You'll be fine.
So right after you do this one?
No, 6 a.m. his time.
Oh, okay.
You
All
okay,
right,
Marilyn? You sound like you're in a blizzard.
What? What did I do?
It just sounded like you were in a blizzard. There was a lot of sound.
It sounded
from
like
me.
wind was rustling through the call.
That's probably. I probably put my phone against my fan. Sorry about that.
Hell yeah. Great. Don't apologize for that ever again. That'll be our next time we need a substitute. We'll ask your fan. Q for the P from Chris. Favorite Jackass or Jackass Extended Universe bit / prank / stunt? Pat, I'm going to go to you for this to start.
So this might be a weird favorite, but it's the one that always makes me laugh the hardest. Is in Jackass Part 2, there's a bit where Bam is sitting at the top of one of those Circus Strongman games, and they put a dildo on it instead of a weight, and they're using his asshole instead of the bell. And they have Pontius dressed as a circus strongman, and he opens it up by saying, "Today's debate, is it wrong to be strong? You be the judge." And then he fucking whacks the thing straight up into Bam's ass, and then they turn the camera towards their wildlife guy, who summarizes exactly what just happened. For some reason, I don't know why it makes me laugh so hard between Pontius's intro and Manny just being like, so what they basically did was they just hit a big dildo straight up into Bam's ass.
I think
it gets me every single time.
I think my favorite bit, and I don't know what film it's from, it's when like they've got the bungee cord and like the outdoor like swimming paddy pool, and like they're just like on rollerblades and stuff. I think it like what I love about the Jackass films is like when it hits the perfect just friends hanging out vibe. Like I like the big stunts. I like when they do the crazy stuff. When it feels like they just like my other favorite bit is when they have like they're doing the barrel surfing, where it just feels like a bunch of friends doing some like it's not the highest state stuff, but it's so enjoyable to watch.
Marilyn, you got one?
Mine is the alligator from the first movie.
That's a good one.
It gives me good memories of my childhood when my dad would walk in on me watching fucking Jackass.
Oh, I love that.
And he'd be like,
I love the hand.
"Oh, this is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. What the fuck is wrong with you, kid?"
The first hand bit is great.
Yes.
He fell for the soup.
That's probably my favorite quote from Jackass. He fell for the this week. My favorite bit would be sexiest man who's ever appeared on MTV, Chris Pontius, doing the parking meter fairy. That one was just it had the charm of the devil bit, but people seemed to get a lot more angry about it, which was very confusing.
All of 2's ending as well. I think 2 has the best ending and one of the best film endings in general.
Yeah,
especially because it badly injured Ryan Dunn.
Yeah, and it's largely responsible for the car crash. Many people say.
All right, question for the Pat. This is from Orchid Boy. Which literary figure would you most like to see enter Tournament of Death?
Which literary figure would I most like to see enter the Tournament of Death? I would like to see David Foster Wallace and Matt Tremont have a match where afterwards they, instead of like the big speech putting each other over, they just trade bandanas as a show of respect.
That was exactly what I was looking for. All right, from Dokumoy, question for the pod. Which wrestlers would do the best? Also, who would do the worst but be entertaining about it on Taskmaster? I don't know what Taskmaster is.
Has anyone but me seen Taskmaster?
I have not.
Okay. I'll carry this one. Do the best. You need someone who's like a bit smart but also funny.
That sounds like MJF to me.
No. Oh, fuck. I think, and this is an insult, I want to make it clear, Zack Sabre Jr. would be very good on Taskmaster. And then who would be like the worst but in an entertaining way? Nick Gage.
All right. Nick Yauman, question for the pod. Who, in your opinion, is the 947th best wrestler in the world? I'm assuming this is because we have ranked
Jade Cargill.
946. I can't argue with that.
That is kind of the most people would say about Jade. I want you to think about that.
I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not having fun anymore.
Good. All right. Marilyn, do you have any feedback for this one?
My answer is DJ Hyde.
That's too high.
Good. No, it's not. Fuck you.
You know what? I have lost lots of hours of sleep off of this. I left Natsupoi off my VP 100, so that's gonna be
Let's go.
All right. From Orchid's wife, Q for the P. You're about to sing a karaoke duet with Jim Ross. What song do you sing?
Havana's theme.
I'm gonna go for. What'd you say?
Havana's theme. Tokyo.
Okay.
I want to see.
I'm doing N-words in Paris.
So we both kind of arrived at the same idea, but taking it in different directions. Because I was going to say Black Betty by Ram Jam.
Marilyn?
I would do Creep by Nine Inch Nails.
Thank you, girlies. I appreciate that one. Nick Yauman, question from my wife. Sorry, Nick Yauman, question for my wife. Where have you put the key to the garage? Pat, do you want to chime in on this first?
I don't fucking control
up
your
your ass. Yeah. Up your ass. That's where I put them. Up your ass.
Yeah, I mean, check upper ass, I guess. I don't know, or up your own ass or something. The key is probably in an ass somewhere.
Check every ass.
Check every ass.
And my answer.
This is a shot. Prostate cancer is not a joke. Check every ass.
I'm gonna say it's probably on Tanner or Tanner's wife's dresser?
Yeah, they picked it out of the big punch bowl in at that party.
Is this just the Tanner fucks his wife episode?
Yeah.
Is that what it's gonna be?
Yeah.
Always Barry Tanner fucking his wife.
All right. First from Eamon, question for Pat. What's the best lineup of the X-Men?
I'm insulted
I'm
solely for Pat.
very partial, both due to the composition and just sheer nostalgia. The initial lineup of Grant Morrison's new X-Men team, who was in that fucking Jean Grey, Cyclops, Wolverine, Emma Frost, a few other people, the Beast. I thought that was a very good balance of personalities, very, and also it just helped that there were good stories, because I don't think I've liked any X-Men stories since the end of Morrison's new X-Men.
Anybody have any feedback to that? I have no fucking clue what this man just said.
So the
I like
X-Men are a Marvel.
I like the
comic.
blog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really
remember
like.
a cartoon show that came out when we were kids, Orchid.
Yeah.
And then there was a recent one
know.
about the creator. He did something. I don't remember exactly what the showrunner of the new X-Men show did, but it was something bad.
It seems like everyone in the animation industry right now is doing shit.
Yeah. Doing shit.
I mean, it's not good.
I like Invincible, and that's not X-Men,
But if he joined, it would go a little something like this.
All right. Q for the P from Toski. Did I get that right? Sorry if I didn't. My apologies. If you had to book a wrestling promotion where the wrestlers are foods, who would you book to be your champions?
Tiramisu.
Let's just go world champion here. Is that your answer?
Tiramisu.
Padraig?
Yeah.
Tiramisu. Okay. Pat?
Nino Hamburguesa.
Okay. I am going to say Yuki Kamifuku. Marilyn? Okay, great. Marilyn's dropped, so if we see her, we do. If not, I hope you sleep well, sweetheart. From Sam, question for the pod. How would you solve the NBA's tanking problem? I would love to answer this question. You don't. The Wizards should tank forever and get every good player and never make the playoffs again.
So realistically, you probably make it based on an average performance rather than just being able to tank 1 year and get some good draft picks. Like, it would have to be tied to like average over time. But what I would like to see them do is weaponize sex scandals to punish teams that are tanking. So it's
now
like
that I don't mind.
Every team owner has their own, like, V. Stiviana, was that her name? The woman with the mask, who just is gathering compromise on the owner, all the players, and just unbelievably toxic, not even legal scandal mongering if the team is tanking.
Okay, so first, real opinion, tanking isn't an issue. It's part of the sport. Yep. If you don't want to, unless you want to get rid of the draft and use a soccer model of transfer fees, you're just going to have it, and that's fine. It's part of American sports. My actual answer, I would give every pick to the Celtics, and I think that would and they can just kind of hand off players they don't want. Or my actual pick
would really fuck up the salary system to have like 923 players, though.
Here's my actual answer. Whoever has the worst record, no matter what, that owner is like publicly shamed in some way. Like, we throw rocks at them or something. Like, we do Walk of Shame, Game of Thrones style. So every owner will be like, okay, I want to tank, but I don't want to be the worst team. And I think that will solve it.
I think my real answer to this would be shorten the season, just get rid of the draft. It's not that complicated.
I just think it's fine.
You see the NBA just raised the draft age to 42?
I did not. So we still got 2 more years to hold out, Pat.
But okay, so the only reason the NBA cared about tanking now is because of the gambling involved. She's like, tanking's fine. It's part of the sport.
All right. This is coming from Haven. Question for Orchid. How are you? I was great when you asked this question. Now,
You're even better.
yeah, exactly. But thank you for asking, sweetheart. Q for the P from Isabel. Favorite kind of croissant?
Chocolate.
I mean, just regular ones. I think it's more about preparation than the kind of croissant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like two types outside of chocolate and plain. What are the other types of croissants?
There are definitely more. I've come across them. But yeah, I mean, you can't beat a good chocolate croissant. It's just kind of where I land.
I'm always a
For duck sauce.
panna raison person myself.
All right, from Tasky. Q for the P. How do we get the NFL to begin using relegation?
We don't.
Have you tried asking nicely?
Relegation for who? Who gets promoted?
Yeah, that's and to where? To the NCAA 2? Like,
look,
let's see.
As a fan of a team who is currently probably going to get relegated, I understand the ideal, but let's keep relegation out of American sport.
Yeah. And all right. I'm skipping Dan's question. Largely because he didn't put Q for the P in front of it.
We got to get into it.
No, we're not getting into that. I'm not getting into that. I'm in charge.
Dan asked, what's the worst thing a loved one has ever done to you? And honestly, without naming names, the worst thing a loved one has ever done to me is go to a cheer comp in Myrtle Beach instead of doing the VP Hall of Fame podcast.
The worst thing a loved one ever did to me is when we said we were going to do a podcast over 2018 World of Sports, a tournament they did, and I watched 8 hours of fucking World of Sport, and then he loses the fucking audio for it.
And for me, my answer is Tanner fucking his wife. All right, and then
she's got to be tired.
Knowing Tanner, I doubt it.
All right, that's where you end it. That's where you end it.
Yeah, and yeah, on that note, yeah, we're gonna call it. Thank you all very much.
We're gonna ignore the final question.
Yes, we are.
Cool.
We'll save it for next week. And yeah, vote in the VP Hall of Fame, and yeah, you'll have a great
drive
night.
Safe out there. There's a lot of safe. I've heard there's potholes on the street, so be careful.
Great work. Okay.